We have our senator from Florida, Senator Marco Rubio, who has taken a very firm stand against what Obama has done for a number of reasons. Senator, how are you?
I'm doing well, Mark. I'm glad to be part of your last hour of 2014.
You believe that?
Yeah, year flies by. What an eventful year here.
Yeah, and in many ways, just a terrible year. Yeah, exactly. Now, Senator, first of all, in November, at a committee hearing in the Senate, you questioned the now Deputy Secretary of State really aggressively, relentlessly, and asked him if something was brewing with our relationship with the communist regime in Cuba, and he said repeatedly under oath, no. Is that correct?
Yeah, what I asked him repeatedly was, is there going to be any unilateral concessions? Are we just going to, lift, sanctions on Cuba in exchange for them promising some economic opening? And he said no, and if you think back, he actually didn't lie, because what they did was they lifted sanctions without any concessions, not even economic ones, basically. This was a one-sided deal. And if I could take a moment, Mark, because this is not an issue that people have followed closely throughout the years. Cuba's not usually in the headlines. Here's what people have to understand. And I respect people who have a different opinion, who want freedom to come to Cuba, but think that the best way to do it is by lifting the embargo. But here's why they're wrong. Cuba's economy is not our economy or virtually any other economy. There are no private businesses there. The entire economy is controlled by a holding company, basically, that is run by the military. So every penny that goes into Cuba, whether it's a tourist or remittances sent to family or people coming back to visit or increased trade and telecommunications, every penny goes to that company. They take about 9 out of every $10, or 90% of the funds, 92% of the funds, into their own pocket. And then, of course, they have to pay people some salary, but it's literally about $60 a month on average, sometimes less. So they are not going to change that. They've already been very clear that they are not going to change that system. All that's going to change here is there is now going to be more money going into Cuba, meaning more money going into the pocket of these folks. And what that means is they're now going to be able to solidify themselves in power forever after a transition. So people say, well, what's the big deal? This is a relic of the Cold War. Who cares? There's 3 reasons why we should care. The first is Cuba's government is an enemy of the United States. In every international forum on the planet, they consistently vote against our national interests. They are aligned with Assad. They are aligned with Iran. They are aligned with Gaddafi before that. They're aligned with Putin. They're aligned with Maduro in Venezuela. On every issue, they're never on our side. Number 2, they are inviting the Russians to come back. They have, for example, a spy station in a place called Lourdes that they're now reactivating. They're negotiating for the Russians to start basing naval assets in Cuba again. Cuba is probably the number 3 country in the world in terms of espionage against the United States. They spy against us actively, and they sell those secrets to other countries. And they are a state sponsor of terrorism. Last year, the Cubans were caught trying to send to North Korea weapons systems that are in violation of UN sanctions. And then they were caught in the Panama Canal, and the ship was seized, and it was coming from Cuba. And no one disputes that. And my last point about Cuba, one of the things that people forget is the entire Latin America, Western Hemisphere, was full of dictators. Up until the late 1980s and early 1990s, democracy started to spring up. And now, virtually every country in the region has some form of democracy, although in Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, and Nicaragua, that's starting to erode. What the administration is doing by recognizing them diplomatically is they're sending a message that it's okay to be a dictator. The U.S. is fine if you're a dictator. We recognize countries that do that as legitimate and valid governments. So now if someone decides that they're going to go back to a dictatorship in the hemisphere, why not? America appears to be fine with it under Barack Obama. And let me tell you what dictatorships lead to. They lead to mass migrations. They lead to economic and political instability. They lead to civil wars, all of which end up impacting us. We have entire communities of immigrants in this country who came here from Nicaragua, from El Salvador, from Cuba, fleeing the kinds of instability that's created by dictatorships. And we already have a mass migration problem, and this will only make it worse. So for all those reasons, this is just a terrible, terrible thing that's happened.
Well, that's a very, very good sketch of what's going on and why this won't work.